You know what? I was just thinking about a good strategy. If you're kind of down and out on your luck, you could just say, hey man, I'll like your TikToks for some extra spare change. That's kind of my campaign that I would, if I was really in a spot where I was not doing too well and I had to make a sign, it'd be like, hey, I'll like and subscribe for some spare change. I think that's what this sign is. Going to be saying something of that. I will like your channel. I'll comment. I'll subscribe. Just give me some change. Just hit my Venmo. Let's do this. Another thing off the top is like, often you forget, and it's a balance, but you need to you hit your colors with other. So right now I have a red. Let me explain. I get my red in there, and if I want some dark areas, you don't add black, you add like a dark blue to give you like a purple, but it just darkens the value. And I think traditionally you just automatically think you're going to put black into the palette and mix it that way. No. No. You add other value, like darker values, but you stay away from kind of what you imagine will happen, which is, well, if you want a darker color, you add black. Well, no. I think you got to work your brain around that. Just a little tip. Tip from your friendly old painter. Okay, so let's put some shadow here. Let's make the cardboard kind of cardboardy. And then there's times where you do want to add some black for dramatic effect, but I think you just need to work, like, get your head around the fact that when you mix a color and you want to darken it, you don't just jump to black. And it's fun to experiment because you get some really great colors and they kind of stay with you for your entire career. You're kind of, if you train yourself to mix some cool colors, those cool colors can stay with you. And then you'll start seeing like certain artists have like a really interesting palette. That's because they built it up over time. They know the colors they like to use. They know the colors they like to mix. But you get such an interesting palette when you mix, when you want to make lights and darks, but you don't just add whites and blacks. You add variations like browns with the greens, browns with the blues, blues with the reds. In this case, I can't really say, oh, it's more lifelike because everything here is a little bit surreal. Lucid Dream. You like it? The donuts, finally. Well, yesterday someone called them, I can't remember what someone thought they were. Nipples. They said, that, oh, what's with all the nipples soaring around the head? I'm like, oh man, I gotta get these donuts in shape. They're not nipples, they're donuts. So congratulations, Lucid Dreams. They are not nipples, they're donuts. So speaking of which, I think I'm still not sure. I keep calling my character a creature because it is like a god. So do you call God an it or a the or a creature? But the donuts go wherever she goes. Or he, I'm not sure. I don't think anyone knows. Very ambiguous. It's a mystery. I think this is like kind of like somewhere between a melting Simpsons character and a melting duck, or maybe Ernie from Sesame Street. Or we'll just keep working it and find out. Let's do this too. It's time to do this. It's kind of boring, but just where my head's at for some reason is when I'm mixing colors, it's what you think, but it's not what you think. It's this, like this isn't black. It's very dark, but it's not black. It's brown, blue, and black. And I just think that's kind of like pretty important. Like it's pretty important. Because I think for a long time, especially for me anyway, you just go, okay, put the black in because it's black. It's not. It's not. Same with these. This arm has been so many different colors. You know who's a fantastic artist and a pretty good guide, and I've watched a number of videos over the years now. I think his name is Will Rockford. He does all the fantastic like movie posters, like movie poster scenes or behind the scenes of movies. That's kind of primarily what you might know as work for. He does obviously a lot of stuff, but he does old vintage style paintings, very Norman Rockwell. He's like our contemporary Norman Rockwell. And anyways, he was saying like in his shirts, like he was painting a shirt for one of his reels or whatever, and he's saying there's probably like 40, don't quote me on this, but he was saying like there's like 40 different colors in this shirt alone. And I never kind of thought of it that way, but when you keep painting and you're mixing, and as the painting develops, it evolves, you realize, yeah, there probably is like, I don't know about 40 colors, but pretty close. Like it just happens. But if you set out to make a palette of 40 different blues, you're kind of losing. That's not how it's done. It's it's over the course of the painting. You'll just notice, like, so here we're probably hitting 10 different blues already, because every time I mix a color and go back to this particular figure, it's a new form of blue or a new color that I'm adding to it. But it takes time over the course of the painting that you just keep building off of it and keep working it. That's how I work. I think some other artists don't. They work differently, but like a lot of artists I see, like, will set out to like finish this character like one thing at a time. They won't jump around as much as I do. You might be more inclined to doing that, where you stick to one element of the piece and you don't jump around. You just wait till it's finished. Donald Duck melting pot. What's the inspiration? The donuts. The donuts are, yeah, they just kind of go wherever she goes. Let's go more here. Even in this lampshade, I've probably put in 20 different colors in here. I just keep touching it, keep working it. It's not even that it needs it, it's just me working around the painting over and over again. Let's see here. Back to the donuts. I went through a stage many times, multiple different times, where I would have pieces where I just ram the shit out of them. I just like I fill them up as much as humanly possible, and then I spend as much time as I can to like refine everything to make it come to life. And I was doing that for, on and off for years. So I'm kind of shocked, actually, this came back. But they always, like, things just come back. Phases or periods or styles, they return. It's surprising, I guess, but it's not as well. Like, but I am shocked that I was not, when I started this piece, I was not planning on I just wanted one figure in the Simpsons universe, and then it just started to morph kind of right before my eyes. And then I think I'm kind of curious to see, okay, I did a couple pieces, I think 2 years ago. So I'll be curious to compare them and see where I've progressed or even regressed. How many hours a week am I painting? Oh, I don't really, I can figure it out, but I don't think like that. I just paint every day. That I know. Like, I don't look at it like a job, but it should be like a job. It doesn't feel like a job, but it has to be. It's a weird balance. I'm also really I've said this, too many times, but it's always, for me, it's always about my ideas. My brain doesn't stop. And so when I'm painting, it's the only thing that really makes me feel like I'm whole, because my ideas are being put to use. They're not just stored in my brain and just sitting there with no action. So I won't go get as dramatic as calling it therapeutic, which it is, but I mean, like, that's not why I do it, but it is very, like, I'm very relaxed when I'm in front of my painting, because my brain is able to be utilized with all the ideas that are always flowing. They just don't shut off. And then it's like, okay, so you have all these ideas. Can you make them come to life, and can you do it a little better? Like, can you improve your skills so you make your ideas stronger? And that's what I've been doing for years. Yeah, it's morning for me here. Meow laser. But sometimes hundreds of hours, like 10 like hours upon hours. I can paint. I haven't lately, in all honesty, but I can paint for, 10 hours a day. And then I can paint 2 hours a day. Something like that. I watch tutorials. I took an art class in high school. I started off in abstract, so just learning how to mush paint around. I didn't have a lot of knowledge. I wasn't well versed in it either. Still not really. But then over time, it's like, okay, I'm interested in learning how to paint. Like, I'll find an artist that I really love, and then see like how they're doing stuff. And then a lot of the artists nowadays will tell you how they're doing stuff. They'll just show you. But I always feel a little bit guilty going, oh, you got to just go watch a painting tutorial. I only say that because that's what I do. It's not like there's just really great creators out there that have a really good system on telling you what's what and how to do it. And I like watching them, so I think you should too. And because I think I've been doing that for so long, it's almost like I can't even say I'm self-taught when I've been watching painting tutorials and like studying stuff on my own. So sure, I can go, oh yeah, I'm self-taught, but taught by other people who have done it and know what they're talking about. So I don't take like, oh, I just locked myself in a cave and figured this out. No, not quite. But you do get the best lesson you're going to learn is just by doing it. So in theory, if you lock yourself in a cave, you're still going to progress and finally figure out what you like, what works, what doesn't work. One thing too is like, oh, I know I can do better. I know I can paint this better. That's a really helpful tool too. I've done this before. I can figure it out. Like, there's periods in your journey where you're like, that's as good as it gets, and I'm really happy and proud with it. And then over time, you're like, oh, I can do better. I can do better. Let me try to make this better. I probably painted, I don't know, I don't want to exaggerate, but maybe 100 skulls, like actual paintings. So I know I can paint a skull pretty good. So it doesn't need I don't need to settle with a skull. The skull can really come to life. And I got a lot of experience with skulls. Skulls are a really good place to, if you don't know what to paint a skull. People like them. You have pretty good odds of maybe finding a home for it. And they're really great. There's a lot of good lessons in there. And like, change it up, make it orange. Yeah, thinking about painting setup, you got to paint to paint. You have to paint to paint. Night here in Cali. True crime fan? Yeah. Oh. There's a thing that popped up. Said add a Q&A sticker. True. Yes, nighttime in the States, eh? Okay. So these were kind of like hot dogs strapped to the chest, but they look like kind of the Wi-Fi signal. I want this to be more fabric. Might need to look at like some reference photos, or like the more reference photos you can have, the better. And then the opposite side of that is like, okay, you figure out how to make something look good from your mind. It's like a nice balance. But I think you're always going to come out on top with a reference, as far as more making it more real. This fire is going to be a bit of a nightmare. Maybe not, let's see. Like I really should. I need a reference here. And I'm not looking at one, and I feel like I'm spinning my wheels. One thing I noticed over the last little bit, it's kind of a shift in my, I don't know what it is, but I have more patience for myself and my work. Maybe because I'm getting older, but like I just keep telling myself, no, just take as long as I need to make this painting come alive. And I think that's not new, but actually I'm having more patience. Like if this goes into tomorrow and the next day, so be it. And before I was very against that. I'm ready to move on. I have more ideas. I have things I want to do. I always give you the analogy. Like there's only so much gas in the tank. But now as I get older, I think I'm getting more gas. Like there's more gas in the tank for each painting, which I think is a win. Like I'm kind of excited about it. So when a painting's finished, I want to be really, and I look at it in 2 years from now, I'll be like, okay, good job. You really pushed it till it was not just complete, but really, really strong, and stand behind it, and feels good looking at it in the future. And as I get older, I think that's in my best interest. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but there's periods where it's like, no, just get the idea out there, get the concept, try your best, and move on, which I think is also really valuable. But I'm just not, like, lately I haven't been there. I think it depends on your objective and plan. There's a lot of, like, there's so many different styles, and even creatives that do things differently, that really benefit from like just crushing things out, like getting things out there, me included. That's often one of my, I think, strong suits, where I have an idea, a concept, and I can crush it out quick, and I'm happy with it, and it's successful. And there's obviously like the finest of fine painters that, you know, take ungodly amounts of hours on a painting, and refine every square centimeter of the entire canvas. And that's just what they like to do. And that's what they're, that's how they make it, turn it into a master work. Oh God. Speaking of master works, to take a look at this thing. Over here you have like it looks like maybe perhaps like a Simpsons adult scene happening. Again, think masterwork. Got her little Speedo cooking. I have a number of animal skulls and mostly a complete human one. I don't know, the TV's gonna be like I don't know. I thought like the Simpsons human centipede, or just kind of like maybe it looks like an abstract version of like an adult scene. Sometimes I don't know what I can say and what I can't. Like, are you allowed to even say the word sex anymore on, or they just completely kick you out of the country? Human centipede Simpsons. I did that before. I really like putting things from previous works into current works when I can. I get a lot out of that, like reoccurring themes, reoccurring subjects, characters. I love it. Especially, I think that's fun for me because I've been painting so long. So there's so many things like, oh, I've done that. Yeah, let's put that in there. Happy with this sign, actually. Doesn't look very human centipede-y. I want maybe like have you guys ever seen the movie Society, where like the family members have some gigantic, they're like alien orgy, all the body parts and the body horror, classic movie. But like maybe some sort of blob of Simpsons. Very abstract is fine for now anyway. Let's also do this. I'm still, one of my biggest hangups with this piece particularly is that I want more and it's just not coming, but I just still know I want more. I want more imagery. Because I was saying this yesterday, but I want to start refining everything. I don't want to add anymore. Like I want to get all my, let me say that again. I want to finish adding any sort of extra characters or extra subjects or concepts now. It's just not working out that way. But I know I want to add more. Or at least that's what I thought. So yesterday we added this blob, but it took like kind of like way too long just to get that blob in when I was thinking out loud. Hyper slob, a real artist with talent, and everyone's watching a boob lady with tarot cards. They're not tarot cards, they're donuts. Try to tell everyone that. That was our childhood in that living room? Yeah, it's our childhood for sure. It's our childhood. I'm not sure here what to do. Maybe we'll just go to the skull. Got a couple skull references. We can work it out. If you want to finish something, you got to get those darks in there and finalize them. The dark shadows and the creases and even like the nose. Finalize that nose. That nose is a little bit wonky. Let me see here. Bring it up more. Bring it out here. The teeth aren't that big. Shape it. Get a little surreal, make it smile, it's cool. Finalize those fingers holding it. This might be obvious to many of you, but like you kind of just work around the painting and it slowly, you can get it to a point where you're like, okay, that part is finished. And you might always end up touching it over time, like a little bit, but you abandon it at a certain point where you're like, it doesn't need to be worked on anymore. And hopefully you can work around the entire painting like that, where you're okay, I don't need to work on that sticker anymore, this arm anymore. And yes, you always like tinker with it, but it's not in your mind where it's not, like this skull for me is not finished. It needs to be finalized where, okay, I got it to a place that I like it. I don't need to be concerned with it anymore. The helmet, I need to work it. The donuts everything's kind of in this weird place with this piece. But again, I think there's some artists that like will tackle one thing at a time. Oh my God, I'm so the opposite. But there's some real, like, some of the best, I see them just tackling. They would start with the skull and finish the skull. That would be their session for the day or whatever. I do not work like that, but I also don't work like that because kind of oils. Like oils don't let you. I find it are more stronger when you work with an object over time, not in one go. That's my opinion, though. Like stages. Even got some hot pink salmon in. Same thing with that helmet. It's time to get it in. I wouldn't say I'm finalizing, but we need to get it closer into a stronger position than it is now. Just got to update it. Like some of the other elements have gotten more attention. It's time to get this helmet, give it some attention. Some things you avoid too, which is funny. Just thinking about like, what am I avoiding? It's kind of avoiding this stuff. Let's find out where it's hitting the light, or let's see, I'm not sure yet. Got like a mid value here, I'll show you. It's kind of in the middle. Seems a little darker than maybe some of the areas, but still the middle. If you put details in and you make it look detailed, you can get away with making it very abstract and like confused. So it's not proportionate, it's not sitting accurately, it looks cheap and broken. That part's kind of on purpose, but it's obviously not sitting right, and it's not accurate, and it's not. But if you start putting in details and working it as if it's sitting properly, as if it looks proportionate, then that's kind of like some of the fun of creating. Like you're validating it, you're justifying it. Like, no, it's supposed to look like this. it's supposed to look ridiculous. And the only way you can do that is by like refining it and putting some of these details in here and giving things attention. Because then all of a sudden you're like, oh no, it's supposed to be bent and warped and broken, battered, and war torn. Daily fetch. Looks like you have a shoulder strap with still some. Yeah, I know. Oh, alive, yeah. Daily fetch. Yeah, the shoulder strap should be still exposing, but we're trying to keep it PG-13, at least for the lives. Let me see here. As you go along the painting, I still stand behind like working your way around everything, but then you can get yourself caught up in a certain area that you need to, like I said, like finalize and give it some attention. You can catch yourself here for a while. That's cool. It needs it. Pick your areas of like light reflection. I think actually what might help is, let's see here. Yeah, donuts, butterflies. That's totally kind of like that. Those are your options, right? It's either donuts or butterflies. Because I do paint my fair share of butterflies. But in this case, the donuts just, I don't make up the rules. Wish I did. Is that too bright? Kinda. I notice that it's confusing me, confusing me to try to explain working around a painting and refining, well, kind of saying the opposite. Like I'm still trying to figure out what needs this painting needs. And while I'm thinking about that, I just need to keep painting in order to bring some of these elements together and finalize them. But even again, when I set out today to start painting, it was like, okay, I need you to put in the finishing objects that you want, because I want to start refining everything. I don't want to keep adding more concepts and ideas and subjects in here. I want to finish. I want to start working on like the shoes and and meanwhile I'm working on the shoes. So it's a little bit hard. I'm trying to figure out my own logic. My logic seems a little bit flawed with this piece. Some pieces are really straightforward from start to finish. This piece it is not that. For whatever reason, it's just not that. It kind of took on its mind of its own. And something's just telling me in my mind, you need something more here. And then something in my mind's like, well, you got to finish the carpet. So I'm having like a internal conflict. It's contradiction. Because I really believe in strategizing a painting. Like, okay, this needs to happen at this stage, then you let it dry, and then you need to do this, and then you do this. I get off on that. And I've been trying to do that with this painting, strategize, and it's just not working. So it's like I'm holding two different strategies in my mind at once, and they're fighting. And so every time I say something, I feel like I'm just being a hypocrite or I'm misleading you, but it's kind of like both are true in this case. Like, okay, finish this carpet, and you still need to add what you think is missing. I will like your, that's what the sign says. I will like your TikToks for some spare change. I will subscribe and follow you for some spare change. I will comment and upvote for some spare change. That's what this. But just think of that strategy. If you're homeless, you could just create a sign that says, "Hey, we'll follow you and like your stuff, man. Just give me a few bucks." That's what I would do. I would create signs like that and build an army of people that will like follow. You know how like it's almost like the people that wait in line for you for like when a new shoe drops or a new iPhone drops, and they wait in line and then buy it for you. Those guys built like armies, so they have like multiple people available. If a strategy would be like, okay, we'll create this media company totally like street level, and we'll get like 30 homeless people to start liking all your shit. And all you gotta do is just give us a couple bucks. Come on. So you're getting something out of giving me money. Not just feel good, but hey, we'll like your stuff. Daily Fetch, what he's saying. So hey, maybe yell at the painting. Come help the fight. Could help. Oh, could help the fight. Yeah, yelling at it. Well, usually like a less dramatic is after I sleep and I wake up, which is what happened today. I look at it and see what it needs, and I usually get my answers. Again, this case is a little strange. It's not that. So I think I said this earlier, but I'm just in a place currently, which it'll jump around pretty manically, but where I just, okay, if this painting needs another day, it needs another, dare I say, week. I don't think so, but I'm just kind of in that mindset, like, so be it. Okay, and just keep playing with it. I'm still enjoying it, despite the fight that's taking place. I'm still in a mode where, yeah, I like this. I want this to like turn out to be really good. I do think the concept's strong. The Venus de Willendorf, if you guys look that up, it's this old sculpture from prehistoric times, basically. It's like one of the first art pieces. I'm far from an art historian, but it's like it's a very important piece of art history, and it has that shape. That was what I originally started with, and it looks like a bit of like the Statue of Liberty. And then this character turned into like your uncle who doesn't like to get his hands dirty but wants everything for free. Will tell you he's going to help you, but then doesn't show up, or shows up late when it's time to like eat the barbecue, but all the framing of the house is already complete, and he just happened to miss out on that part, but didn't miss out on the pizza. That's this guy. But also a god. Looks like there's some sort of interaction happening where this god is monetized on TikTok, has a big following. So much happening. So anyways, I like the imagery that's taking place. I stand behind it. While the world crumbles, we're just scrolling on TikTok. In our living rooms. The priorities of modern society are really crazy. And I fall into it just like everyone else, so it's kind of like the best I can do is just paint what like my priorities. What's happening here? Let's see if something happens now. Let's do this too. Oh man. I'll say something kind of cheesy here, but if you give it enough time and space while you tinker and you work and refine, ideas will come. There's a little more pressure when I'm streaming this and trying to convince you of that, but if I wasn't streaming, I would just keep doing what I'm doing, talking to myself. But I just know that at some point I'm like, oh, that's a good idea, and then I put it in. Okay, that's a good idea, and put it in. When I'm doing it in real time and it's taking an hour just to like, it seems like hopeless, but that's not really true. The ideas always come. Always. Oh, do this, do this, do this. And I'm not even saying winning ideas, but just ideas in general. They will. And then you have to be a little selective, like, nah, that's a good idea, but no, that's not happening. But they always come. You have to be sitting in front of your piece, and you give it the space, you give it some breathing room. The ideas will come. Put on music. Let's see here. Something has to happen where it brings the donuts together, it brings the background together. It's not another tube. There might be a tube over here though, let's see. Kind of coming in. Yeah, I guess there is. Wow, look at that. Kind of almost like conviction, like real, like, hey, these are tubes. Do they make sense? No, but they're there. Not like, are you sure? Like, commit. Commit, damn it. Commit. Shape it. Now is the time to shape it. You don't want to do the shaping later. Here's what I mean by shaping. And you have to add in the fact, daily fetch, you have to add in the fact that he's in an alternate universe, right? Like he's in the Simpsons world somehow. Like he's transported into another universe, which is why it's godly. It's not just like, yes, it's the Statue of Liberty and your uncle, but it's also like there's some beyond supernatural powers taking place. There's like some real wizardry happening. It's not a joke. You're making it out to seem like a joke. This is not a joke. Far from it. This is serious business. Yes, there might have been some boob augmentation. That is true. Still not a joke. Yes, he's surrounded by floating donuts that go wherever he goes. Yes, not a joke. Serious business. Serious business. Maybe we're going actually highlights here. I guess so. Now let's go the other way with the helmet. I was like adding highlights. Get some of your browns and blacks and blues even. And let's see if we can add some more definition the other way. So we went pretty hot, like pretty hard on it with the highlights. Now go the opposite direction. tighten things, add some scuffs, some defining lines, some shape. Some rivets and bolts. Shadow. Tighten up some of your lines. Try to make it make sense, even though like from the jump it didn't make sense. Right? It's far from proportionate, it's far from accurate. Just now make it like, it doesn't have to be correct, it just needs to be good. And you kind of can repeat this process. You have to watch like a couple minutes back, maybe 30 minutes back, when I was working on the helmet before and adding like the highlights and some of the brighter values. And then now we're going backwards, we're adding some dark. And you just keep going, doing that over and over again. Even start adding some accent colors, like bringing out, let's see if I can. So I added some green and blue with some white. Kind of change it. Let's even add a little brown, but still a brighter value, mid kind of bright. Then you can throw it in here. It's more browny than I want, but I kind of like it. Gives it some character. Calm down. You have a nice pace. You don't need to get, everything is just lightly worked. And more so over here. Let's see here. Now let's actually go back to what I was saying. Let's go hard on the let's add some boldness. So even though I don't have my objective is not being met with adding some extra imagery, at least we're getting further ahead with the head of my, essentially the head of the painting, the main focal point. So add some, so progression is still happening. Kind of looks like what is it called? Those fireman helmets. Let's imagine the light is hitting here hard. The light's not hitting everything hard, it's just hitting these select areas. Always give yourself a little wiggle room too. The only way to do that is just don't rush. You don't need to get ahead of yourself. If something needs to be tweaked, no problem. You can pick out little areas. And it starts to look more damaged too. You can add a little streak here. Well, I like that. That looks nice. Can we do it again? Let's see. You have some things that are like backlit. I want more freckles for the man, for the lady. Let's do that. Had freckles from childbirth. Never grew out of them. Yeah, keep tossing it out there. Daily fetch. Keep tossing it out there. Clown paint, no. I'm going to stick with this bizarre uncle that haunts his family. This kind of like obscure alternate reality Santa Claus. What would Santa be doing if he wasn't giving out presents? Slash the modern day Venus de Willendorf. Slash modern day Statue of Liberty. Let me see here. Same thing with like the skull and the helmet. We're going to go a little higher in, not too much paint on the brush. Get your brush right. And let's pick out some areas that are really hitting the light, you know, the highest points on the face. Remember, we can go backwards. You don't have to. It's okay. Don't get nervous. The light's hitting this bridge of the nose, the top of this brow, the eyelid. Don't be too aggressive. No need for that. Some parts of your painting need aggression. This needs aggression. These areas don't really need it anymore. We're in more of a refining mindset. So not a lot of paint on the brush. Small brush. Work it. work what you have already on the canvas. Let's go a little harder though. I wanted it to be even brighter. So adding a yellow into my skin tone and some more white. If you want that bridge in the nose to hit, well then hit it. You want a little bit of highlight, some spark. He's a little bit wet, right? Sweaty because he's dancing. He's dancing for his fans. So he's a little bit sweaty. A little bit wet. A little bit radioactive. A little bit tired too. It's been a long journey. You can define some of that ridge of the nose, calm some of that nostril down. Now some of those marks don't really make sense, so I dry my brush off, clean it rather, then dry it off. Now let's get it to like 100% dry. It's close enough, it's like 90, I'd say 95% dry, this brush right now. And I'm just gonna move some of that around a little bit, calm it down. Same with here, like, you know, I don't need just a like kind of like a dollop of paint. It might be kind of hard to see, to be honest, on the camera. Kind of use what you put on there before you make any more adjustments. Get it right. Calm some of these creases down. Let's get a little bit of let's get funky. Sometimes the face has greens and oranges, pinks, blues. So adding a little green there. I think often you think in terms of like peach skin colors. We'll start adding some colors that you have to experiment, but like, so some blues and greens, they're going to help you. That might be too strong, but you just work it in. Especially in the shadows, right? There's a lot happening. I don't love those additions, but when you work them in, they start to really build the face. Again, you're not doing this in one setting. So clean your brush, dry it off completely. I'd say this is like 90% dry. This brush right now, it's clean. And move what I just put in there. Move it around. Make it work with everything else, like in tandem, a relationship. So now it's not that bold anymore, but it works to it keeps building and building. Making that face start to make sense. It's really worn, weathered. He's got stories to tell. Doesn't have to make sense, but it has to look good. Oh, I gotta, yeah. Yeah. All right, bye.
Your friend will come.
Who's that?
I think the